Well, hello everybody and welcome to day 41 of Grace Changes Everything. And today I'm going to tell you about one of the most significant things and most significant revelations I ever received. I'm going to begin by reading Romans chapter 8 verse 14. For all who have been led by the Spirit of God, these are the sons of God. For you haven't received a spirit of slavery leading to fear, but you've received a spirit of adoption as sons, from which we cry out, Abba, Father. And today I want to share with you a little of my testimony. Now this testimony, rather than being right at the start, this is something that happened to me, I guess almost 30 years into my walk with Christ as a believer. And, there's kind of moments in time that stick out in your life, isn't there? I mean, I remember all sorts of things, from becoming a Christian would be the obvious one. My first ever dance with Cheryl, getting married, the births of my children, all sorts of things, getting my degree at university, qualifying as an accountant. These are moments that stay with you. Well, one of the moments that's really stayed with me occurred in probably one of the most mundane, ordinary, simple circumstances you can imagine. And yet it transformed my whole relationship with God. It was really that significant. So, I mean, what was happening was that I was travelling into London on a train for a business meeting. I was going to meet some clients. It was one of those, I think I was really cold, and it's one of those cold, frosty mornings, when it's really bright, but everything's just freezing. And I got on the train and that was really hot. So outside you had all this frosty weather and inside you had this really hot train carriage. And when I used to travel into London and to other places on the train, I used to sit, read my Bible, spend some time with God. And that day I remember I was reading the story of the prodigal son. And I was pondering it, and I was pondering the reaction, not of the prodigal son or even the father, but the other son, the one who comes in at the end. And he gets upset because the son who's been away seems to be getting a party. And as I was thinking about this, I really sensed God say to me, "So what do you think, son? What's your view of that son?" And I'm not sure. I can't remember whether I ever answered that question, because that wasn't really the significance for me. What struck me wasn't the question itself; it was what I heard God say. You see, I heard the word son, and I'd never heard him call me son before. And it shocked me, and it brought up all sorts of emotions. And in that moment, my whole relationship with God changed. And for the first time, I heard his voice as that of a father who loved me and cared for me. Now, as I began to process that, something deep within me started to happen, and it started to stir, and I got this response welling up with me, and it was like, "So why have you never called me son before?" It was at that moment that however noisy the train carriage was or whatever, everything just seemed to go silent. And there's this peace that just descended. I just can't explain really what that was like, except to say it felt like a blanket had come down on me in the middle of the railway carriage. And in a way I still can't explain, I could sense that God was smiling. And this is what he said. He said, "Son, I've been calling you son all your life, but this is the first time you've ever heard me." You see, I'd always thought of God as Father, Lord, Master, King. But I never thought, I'd always thought of him as King, Lord and Master, but never as Father. And all my life he'd been talking to me as son, and I'd been responding, Lord, Master, King. And then I really sensed him say again, "Son, I've always been with you, and all I have is yours." And that revelation just absolutely transformed my life. So, Father, I thank you. I thank you that you have made us your sons and daughters, that you've chosen to call us sons and daughters, that we didn't deserve it and we didn't deserve anything, but you gave it to us nonetheless. You adopted us into your family, and that I am now your precious dearly loved child. Amen.